Hi everyone. It's early summer of 2014 and I'm here in my office in High River. I thought it would be a good time to update everybody on the activities now that I've been just a little bit over a year in Ottawa as a senator from Alberta. I thought I'd talk a little bit about the activities and some of my observations and reflections 1 year in, and then talk a little bit about what I see coming in the future. Before I start, though, I have to say, particularly around the activities leading into that I think I left you in my 6-month report saying that there really hadn't been anything accomplished in my first 6 months as a senator, that as far as I was concerned, the Senate was entirely seized of the spending scandals around Senator Stuffy, Wall, Brazo, and Harb, and that was quite a spectacle to watch, but that at the end of the day, those first 6 months were difficult and frustrating, I think, for myself and I think for everybody, in that we were not looking after the business of the country. And that's what we're all there to do. I'm happy to report that in the last 6 months, particularly since the Christmas break and we started again in January, we've been hopping. A lot has been accomplished, a tremendous legislative agenda that Prime Minister Harper and the House of Commons have proposed and passed and brought to the Senate for study and adoption. I've participated in those debates and in studies. I've led the passage of a bill, my first significant bill through the Senate, which was the First Nations Fair Elections Act, which improved the conditions and rules and consequences for elections of First Nations leadership in the 600-odd First Nations in the country, First Nations bands in the country. I was also quite active with constituency affairs here, looking after my own home region of High River and area. Our local Member of Parliament, Ted Menzies, chose to retire early in December of 2013. And so this district was without a Member of Parliament for most of the last 6 months, culminating in the election of John Barlow in June of this year. So we did some work for local folks, kind of as a stand-in Member of Parliament, and that was interesting, and we were in many cases able to help. So from a legislative and constituency affairs point of view, we were indeed busy. Also, I really got a chance in the last 6 months to see what happens and the enormous value of committee work. Both committees that I'm not on that presented reports and thoughtful recommendations that I believe the government will follow up on, but also I'm in the middle of participating in an important study on Aboriginal Affairs Committee, which I'm a member of, with respect to the housing situation on many First Nations reserves, looking at both people, First Nations that are leaders in this area, as well as folks who need help, and how we can best position the government to help First Nations with their housing needs in the future. I'm a member was elected by my colleagues as a member of the Conflict of Interest and Ethics Committee, and while we have not been busy, thankfully, in the last little while, there is some work to be done there. We're working hard to improve the code of ethics, make it more explicit, more clear, so that we don't run into some of the problems that happened last year. So there's been a lot of work done on that, and I've been happy and pleased and challenged to participate in that. I've been an active member of caucus, and particularly of the Senate caucus. We meet once a week. We talk about the issues that are going on both in the Senate and macro issues in the country, and that has been a real eye-opener for me. And I gain more and more confidence as the weeks and months go by that I'm able to put my thoughts forward on behalf of Albertans, bring an Alberta perspective to those discussions. And that certainly will continue, and I am determined to be a strong voice within our government's caucus for the concerns of Albertans and the perspective of Albertans on national issues. I'd like to maybe just mention, because I think I talked a bit about this in the last report, my fellow senators, I think when I left you 6 months ago, I mentioned that we really felt under siege. And that was certainly the only way in which I could describe the atmosphere amongst those of us who were in the Senate. I think that we certainly have moved on to another phase, and I think there's an acceptance that at this point the Senate has very few supporters and a lot of detractors. We accept that. And at the same time, we recognize that we have a very important job to do. And we're determined to do it. I think that in future, we will see, there's still a debate to be had in the future as to whether or not senators as a group will accept improvements, or whether the status quo will win the day. And I am absolutely determined, as I've always been and always have said that I would be. I'm determined to play a role in the improvement of the Senate and seeing that more value is brought by this group of people that are serving Canadians, determined to serve Canadians. And I want to end on that. I want to talk about the people that are in the Senate. I'm now 1 year in, past 1 year in, and I remain in absolute awe of the people that are there to serve Canadians from all walks of life: judges, lawyers, Native leaders, scientists, sports heroes that I've talked to you about before, people like Nancy Green, Olympic gold medalist for Canada, Jacques Demers, Stanley Cup winning hockey coach, Larry Smith, Grey Cup winning football player and business leader. There are many, many people of different walks of life that are there, exceptional people who want to serve Canada. And we all understand that Canadians, by and large, are skeptical, but we're still there to serve. It's not always easy to do the right thing, and so many of us have just said, we're going to stick with it, and action ultimately will speak louder than words. And so that's what we'll be doing over the next weeks and months. I look forward to reporting in again. I will attempt to do so early winter, but only if I've got something to say, something that I think is worth your time listening to. In the meantime, happiness and good health, and I hope to see you. At the bottom of the screen now, you'll see my phone number, email address, and website address if you'd want to get a hold of us. Thanks.